Hey everybody, and welcome to the replay of my drive stream in Richmond, Virginia. We're not on the road yet, but we're getting ready to buckle in and hit the road. I'm sitting just outside of the city of Richmond, and as soon as we get some more people joining us in the car, we'll get on out there and see what we can see. Now, thankfully, I don't actually have to fit anyone into my car because if you look behind me, my car is full. And I will be talking more about what's behind me in a little bit. Looks kind of funny sitting back there. We got Snowman and a granny. But hey, Jason is here. Jason, first one in. I'm just kind of sitting here and waiting for some folks to join me before I hit the road for this drive stream in Richmond, Virginia. So we will wait a few minutes and see who is able to show up. Yeah, I got a carload of stuff. Those interesting things you see behind me are actually blow molds, Christmas blow molds, and they were given to me by RJ. RJ78 Productions. Many of you know who he is, and he had been hanging on to that snowman for almost a year now. I talked about it in one of my videos, but I wasn't able to actually, he'd gotten it for me, but I wasn't able to actually get it from him until recently. So that's back there. And then the granny that's laying down right here was actually a dumpster dive kind of find. Not really a dumpster, I should say curbside find out by the trash, ready to get taken out. And RJ rescued it for me. It has a few little holes in it, but nothing that should have sent it to the trash, at least in my opinion. And he knew I would feel the same, so he jumped out of his truck and saved it for me. And I was finally able to get it a few days ago. So they're in my car, taking up a lot of space and traveling with me back to North Carolina. How's the weather? It's gloomy here right now. I'm waiting for the sun. The sun looks like it's trying to peek out, but it's kind of gloomy, and it's actually pretty warm. I thought it would be colder, but it's pretty warm right now. Hey, Kevin, the custodian ghost hunter is here. Hey, how's it going? And Snake Boren is here. Welcome, welcome to everybody. We're going to hit the road in a few minutes. I'm not going to sit here that much longer. I want to get out driving and see what we can see around my old stomping grounds of Richmond, Virginia. I just had my hair done. Everybody take note. The reason I did that is because my sister, you guys probably don't know, I have a sister. It's a half sister, but we still say sister. She lives in Richmond, Virginia, and she cuts hair here. And so I wanted to catch up with her. And so I made an appointment and I said, please cut off my split ends. I have a lot of split ends because my hair has grown so long. She said, I've never seen your hair this long. And I said, that's true. I always used to have short hair, but a few years ago, I just let it grow and it never stopped. And I had a ton of split ends. So she cut those off for me, and she kind of put some little curls in there too. So I have just this lovely fancy hair for our drive stream today. Thank you, Jason. Hi, Laura. Welcome. Well, I think I'm going to, thank you, Kevin. I think I'm going to flip the screen around and so you can have the drive view, and we're going to get out there. I don't know how signal will be. I'm in a very heavily populated area, so I think I'll have good signal, but because I'm driving, just be aware that it could buffer, it could go in and out, but just kind of hang with it because it should it should come back up again if anything happens. Hey Lisa, good to see you too. So yeah, so I don't do too many drive streams, and but I'm hoping this one will work out pretty well because of where I am. I shouldn't have too many problems with signal. It's hard to do this at home, driving around the mountains, because you just don't have signal. So I don't do that very often. But yeah, we're gonna get out here and hit the road. I won't be able to like answer all of your comments as I would if I was just sitting here, because obviously I will be driving and I want to make sure I'm being careful. So I'll only be able to keep up so much with the conversation. I may pull over if we want to catch up on chatting. But I still will be able to see some of the things that you're saying. So we'll work it out. It'll be good. Rhonda is here. Long time no video chat. Well, I live streamed yesterday. So it hasn't been that long, but yes, before that, I haven't been doing many videos or live streams as of lately. But I'm trying to kind of get back into it, and especially being in a new place, I wanted to just do something a little different while I have the chance. So that is why we are here. And again, if you missed the live stream yesterday, I am in town for kind of a sad reason. My uncle did pass away, so I went back to Richmond, Virginia, which is my hometown, born and raised, to see family, to go to a memorial, and just to spend some time with family and friends, and namely my cousins. So that's what I've been doing the past few days. I was able to get out and see some friends too, which was great. But yeah, that's why I'm here. And like I said, it's for a sad reason, but the trip has been really good. It's been good to talk to family that I haven't seen in a while, and share memories. And we had a lot of good laughs. My uncle was a really funny guy, so we've been just talking about all the funny things he said and did over the year. And it hasn't really been like sad, gloomy, funeral-y type atmosphere. It's been remember the good times, and just be together and just share memories. And it's been, under the circumstances, it's been a good thing. Thank you, Laura. And thank you, Jason, and thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, for your condolences. I appreciate that. All right, let me see what I can do here with my settings. And we're gonna try to get a good view. We can't have that, can we? Yeah, I may not have the best setup for this because I see part of my holder right there. We may just have to go with that. I wish I could get that out of the way. We may have to just have a piece of that there. I don't really do drive streams, so as you can see, I could have had a better setup. Oh, Laura, I'm sorry to hear about that. I send you condolences as well. So that's probably going to be the best I can do. Hopefully the little black part in the upper corner won't bother you guys too much. Alrighty. Put my glasses on so I can see the road. And they're smeary, so I'm going to wipe them. Don't want to have blurry vision. All right, so we got 9 people in the stream. Do you think we can fit them all in the car? I'm thinking no, because I got those blow molds back there and some other stuff. The car is pretty much jam-packed. So it's a good thing I don't really have to fit you guys in the car. You'd be really squished. Oh. Everybody good? Everybody buckled in? Laura claims the front seat. Shotgun! Oh, there's just so much traffic here, you all. I've been living in the mountains for years and years and years now, and obviously there's not as many people. So I come back here and I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so many cars and so much stuff is like grown up. So many things I don't recognize anymore. We are kind of outside of Richmond right now, near where I'm staying. But we are going to head into the downtown area. It's a really unique city with a lot going on, and you'll get to see where I used to go to college, where I stayed in a dorm, cool little shopping areas, and just the hustle and the bustle of the city life, which I do miss. I don't know that I'd want to come back here and live. I'm just too much of like a mountain person now. But I do miss the city. I do miss the energy that it has, and I miss being able to actually go to a store and get something when I need it. We do have stores in Franklin where I live, but just not much variety, and there always seem to be closed when I need something. And there's not a lot to do, although there is more to do than there used to be. But there's not a lot to do, not as much as the city, obviously, and there's a lot of things I do miss about the city. Traffic is not one of them, of course, but it is good to be back and see everything, see what's the same, see what's changed. But I will be back, glad to head back to Western North Carolina. That is, although Richmond will always be my home, North Carolina is where I want to be these days. A mountain person. I know that sounds kind of funny, but it's good. Yes, it's a good thing. Emmanuel said he wanted to be a mountain person. Time does fly. That's come up with like everybody I've seen this week. How fast time goes when you're older, and just how the years fly by. It's just seemingly overnight. You know, my daughter went from a baby to an 11-year-old. You know, so it's just time is really flying. Jason said he was buckled in. He's ready to go. We're kind of in a boring area right now, but we will eventually get to the areas that I want to show you guys. I'd ride with you anytime, Ellen. Well, thanks, Snake. I don't know your real name, but Snake's a pretty cool nickname, I guess. Jason says he misses living in Tennessee because everything was close compared to where he is now. He told me he has to go 20 minutes to the Walmart, that's pretty similar to where I am in North Carolina. The Walmart is farther out. Most people in the heavily populated areas, there's one like 5 minutes from them, but not the case. And where I work, the Walmart is like, the closest Walmart is like 45 minutes to an hour. So we get guests coming in the resort and they're just like, we wanted to pick up a few things at Walmart. And we're like, okay, you got a couple hours? So some people don't do their research before they come to the resort into how remote it actually is. So they're surprised by that. There's other little stores where you can get what you need, but there's no Walmart up there. So that surprises people. Manuel says that sounds amazing to me. What, the Walmart being far away? Yeah, some people like that. Some people like the remote areas. 20 miles. Okay, I said 20 minutes, but it was 20 miles. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm not saying much right now. You'll find that I'm saying a lot more when we actually get to the city. Have a lot to say about that. I'm just kind of going the slow route to get there. There's a couple things I wanted to look at out here before I got back to the city, but we're headed in that way, in that direction, one way or another. Only one red light. There's a CSX building right there for you train people. CSX, how tomorrow moves. Yeah, scenic route, but not too much to look at right now. But I did want to. I wanted to start the stream before I was into the thick of things. Yes, I've seen several deer just on this trip coming down, and just the places that I've gone around here, even near the city. There's been deer, but there's a lot of deer up where I work. Like every day, I have to look out for the possibility of deer. One flew across the road right in front of my car. It was so close. I thought that for sure I was going to hit them, but luckily I didn't. So I just saw a cool arcade with retro games inside of it that I've never seen before. Pac-Man and all kinds of stuff in there. Hey, John. We're just cruising around right now. We haven't got to the good stuff yet. Here we got Richmond city limits sign right here. So we are going to start getting into more. Here we go. And I'm going to turn right here down Broad Street. And then we'll be headed into the city. I am doing good, Johnny. I hope you are. Always like seeing everything you put up with you and Carmen. Looks like you guys are always having fun. Looks like you got your Halloween videos up already. You're on the ball, unlike me. I still need to put up that video we did from the Oddities convention. John Spike and I went to this really cool convention in Charlotte. It was called like Curiosities and Oddities convention or something like that, with all kinds of cool vendors and shows and different things going on. And we made a pretty cool video, and I'd like to try to get that out. It'd be good for this month for spooky season anyway. Tried changing the view. I think it helps a little bit. Still can't get rid of that. Oh, well, there we go. Hey, that's better, isn't it? Okay. That is better. Oh, you're working on it for this month? Yeah. Yeah, I think we mentioned that before, that it would be good to put it up for this month. Just these are areas that I'm really familiar with, but they look so different now. There's just so many like condos and restaurants, and just things are different. I've been gone from here for, let's see, for around 15 years now. So there's the boulevard. I used to hang out with a lot of people on the boulevard. My some friends of mine had an apartment down that way. And there was also a transmission shop on this road that I worked at. I've mentioned that in videos before, but I did used to briefly worked at a transmission shop that my boyfriend at the time owned. So I got to learn a lot about transmissions and what you need to do and what your options are if your transmission fails on your car. I also got to do a lot of cool stuff. Like they had a contract there with a police station and the postal service. So all of the mail cars and police trucks would come to this place that I worked to be repaired. And so I would get to do things like drive the police cruiser around the block to test it out. So with that one, you know, if you have the chance to drive a police car, I don't know who among you would give up the opportunity to do this sort of thing, but I just had to like do the little thing where not full out turn on the siren, but I did the little thing where it goes whoop like that. So I drive around the block and I'd pull up behind somebody. I go whoop and watch them freak out. Like get out of the way or whatever, think they have to pull over. Then I just keep going. It was hilarious. Okay, see you, Johnny. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun working there. I've driven a mail car too, but that was hard because the steering wheel on the other side. And but I did get to do that. American Explorer, if he was here, he would be proud. He's a mail carrier who drives a mail truck. So, but yeah, there's 7-Eleven. I miss 7-Eleven. Most of the 7-Elevens have turned into these really big gas stations like Sheetz. But in Richmond, there are still some old, small ones tucked in here. The same ones from when I was a kid. But we don't have 7-Eleven where I am now. Although Johnny, who was just on here, they have 7-Elevens in his town. So when I go visit him for video collabs, I always make sure to stop in at a 7-Eleven. Well, American Explorer, you are here. And yes, I know, you have also driven a police car because you were also a policeman. I did leave that out, yes, because I was focusing on on the mail car aspect that you do right now. But yes, folks, American Explorer, he was a policeman, and so he, of course, has also driven a police cruiser with lights and siren. Yes, I would imagine that was a part of your job there. Still here for a minute, driving a mail truck. Yeah, you're driving a mail truck right now. I can only take a few minutes of that. I could only do around the block, and I was like, I'm not driving that thing anymore. Pam has a small 7-Eleven in town. Alrighty, so on your left you can see VCU. That stands for Virginia Commonwealth University. I went to college there for about 2 years until I transferred to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and that's where I graduated, but I did start out here at VCU. I studied journalism. But it's just changed so much since then. A lot of these buildings weren't here. My dorm that I stayed in downtown is still here, but it has another huge building that grew up right beside it that wasn't there. So I used to be on the 11th floor of this tall building, and I could see, I had a city view out of my room, which was really cool. It was right next to the elevator, though. So all night long, I just heard like the sounds of the elevator shaft, the elevator going up and down, and the doors opening and all that. But as you get used to it after a while. My degree is in English creative writing, but I started out in journalism. Quick Trip, yes, QT. Those are not here in Richmond, but where I live, it doesn't take long to come to one of those. All you have to do is cross over the Georgia border, which is just minutes away from where I live, and you start to see the QTs, or the Quick Trip convenience stores. American Explorer has to run. He has an hour and a half to go. Thank you for dropping in. I didn't expect you at all, so it was fun to see you for a sec. Cool to see some of the city. Yes, it is. Talk to you later. Yeah, we're headed down into the downtown portion of Richmond. So much nicer than it used to be. There's like bike lanes and stuff now. When I was a student at VCU, I rode my bike everywhere, and one day when I was going to class, I actually got hit by a car. This guy, he just pulled out and just smacked right into me. I flew off my bike, and my bike was totaled. I was okay. My knees were banged up or whatever. But the man who hit me was an older man, and he was so upset. Like, I ended up comforting him because he got out and he was like almost crying, and he was shaking, and he just said, "I thought I killed you." And I said, no, I'm okay. Look, I can stand up. It's okay. Like, I'm all right. Just please, you know, don't, I just had to like tell him that everything was going to be okay. But I remember another kid from my class was riding his bike by when that happened, and I said to him, I said, "Hey, tell the teacher I'm gonna be late. I got hit by a car." He was like, "What the heck?" But I ended up just picking up my bike. I couldn't ride it anymore, and my knees were banged up, and my pants were ripped. But I was just like, I really need to be in class. So I just went to class and sat there kind of dazed. Yeah, it was okay. But now they have designated bike lanes, and just like the road is painted differently, and there's just signs everywhere about bikers, and it just looks like it's probably a safer, easier place to get around in on a bike now than it used to be. So yeah, so we're in downtown. A lot of things have been fixed up, but there's still, like any downtown, there's abandoned places and just run down places as well. But really, there used to be more. There used to be lots of abandoned things, and really people have been getting in here and buying those old buildings and fixing them up, turning them into restaurants, turning them into condos, just revitalizing the city. Okay, look on your right, Miller and Rhodes. That was a very old department store. It's no longer a department store, but for years and years and years, that was the place to go to get your clothes and get your department store needs. They always had a great Christmas decorations, and going to see Santa, and just a really cool department store that was downtown, and then later it was in the malls, in the area malls. But it's been out of business for a long time. But they still have the sign on the building there, which is cool. So it looks like the stream is going pretty well so far. No, but I haven't heard anybody complain about buffering or audio, so I'm assuming that things are good. I'm glad I was able to fix that view, because the holder for the phone, being in the view was bothering me. So, that's a good question, Pam. I am fast tracking that video to ahead of some others because it was so exciting, and I don't want to sit on it like I do some of my other videos. Um, I'm going to start working on it very soon, so hopefully it will not be. I can't give an exact date or anything or time, but just know that I will be working on that one because I am very excited to get it out myself. So I do not want that one to be pushed back. So I'm on it, and hopefully it is going to be out, within, I mean, if I had to estimate within the next month, hopefully. Maybe sooner than that. I'd love to get it out for October because it's like spooky season and it would go so well with that. Because of the things that we experienced. But look out for clips from it. I may be putting out some clips of some parts of it. I know not everyone does Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and that's okay. You don't have to tell me you don't like it and why. I understand if you don't do it, but if you do some of those things, make sure you're following if you I'm trying to say is if you are on any of those platforms, make sure you're following the Retromantic because I'm on all three of those, and sometimes I take clips out of those larger videos that I do for YouTube and put them on those other platforms, so you'll be able to see like sneak peeks or tidbits or the good stuff from the larger videos. So make sure you're following those. And if you need the information on how to find me on those other platforms, it's underneath any video, not the live streams, but any video that I put up. If you go to the description, it'll tell you how to find me on other social media. Pam will keep reminding me. Okay, I'm all right with that. I mean, it's a good thing. I don't mind when people ask about when I'm going to put out a video or remind me what I said I was going to do, and maybe it's been a long time. I don't mind that at all. I like people keeping me on my toes, and it shows me that people are supporting the channel, really. I mean, it shows me that people are saying, hey, we missed your videos, or what happened to you at that location that you posted about looks exciting. So we're waiting to find out what happened. We're interested, So that's a good thing when people get on me about that kind of thing. I know it just means they're waiting for the content because they enjoy it. And that means a lot to me. So I thank you guys for that. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to turn around because we're getting kind of, I'm going to go some more parts of downtown and back over to some other streets. And there's this area called the Fan, where I used to live. There's a lot of really cool older houses, a lot of cool, like, little restaurants and shopping areas. So I'm going to drive back into that in a few minutes. I also want to ride down Monument Avenue and tell you a little bit about what's happened there. We will try not to get political, but I do want to show you some things that are really a part of what's going on currently and that will at some point be an important part of history. So we'll go and look around some different parts of Richmond, Virginia. There's a lot to see. I'm getting into kind of an area where I don't really know where I am, so I'm gonna like head out. Now I'm in like Church Hill area, which used to be very, very run down, and again, it's another one of those areas that has been fixed up and become a nice place to live with a lot of historical houses. Yes, there's a lot of old looking buildings and houses here. And so there is I'm not going to go to this particular place because it really would be a video in and of itself if I ever go, which I'd like to someday. But there is a place near here called it's the Churchill Tunnel, and the story goes they were building this tunnel for the railroad for tracks to go through, and something went wrong. The tunnel started caving in. The whole thing was coming down. It was super dangerous. So they pulled out all the people that they could, but not everybody got out. And there was actually an engine in there and some train cars because they were worker trains that were there with the materials and to help them build this tunnel through there. So not everybody got out, and obviously the train did not have time to get out. So the whole thing caved in, and they just ended up they couldn't get the people out, and they sealed it up. And so the people they just are still in there. The train is still in there, and the people that were unfortunately not able to make it out are in there still, just sealed up. So there's a lot of, history around that. There's some ghost stories, of course. But some of the bigger channels have come through and filmed in that area. There's a channel called Mobile Instinct, and I can't remember where he's from, but I know it's closer to where I live now as opposed to here. But he had come here at one point and he filmed that, and his video got millions of views, just millions. I mean, he's a big channel, but still, it was a really interesting story and sad but interesting to see that and just go there and do a video. And so his video on that did really, really well. Pam says, I have adopted you and the guys in PA, JP and RJ and others, so you all are my family. Oh, well, I appreciate that, Pam. That's very sweet of you. And you are a very loyal supporter of the Retromanic channel, and I appreciate that. I know I kind of get tacked on with the with the Pennsylvania guys sometimes because they're my friends and I like to go see them and make videos with them. But I'm kind of the odd one out, being from North Carolina, being 10 hours away from them. But but I appreciate that. I appreciate that you've adopted me within the YouTube family. All right. Too far out on this side. I'm headed back into some other areas that are worth looking at. Mobile Instinct is very good on his videos. He does a lot of research. Yes, he does. And that is one reason why the Churchill train tunnel tragedy location was a good one for him. So these are on your right here. These are a lot of the old houses that were really run down and abandoned, and they just look much nicer now than when I was a kid. A lot of this was kind of like a bad area, but it's doing a lot better now. I love watching your videos, and RJ and JP and Alan. Well, thank you. Yes, we all appreciate your support for sure. A lot of the streets in Richmond are still cobblestone. So I'm looking to the left here and unfortunately can't really show you, but if I were to have turned left there, the road was still cobblestone from ages and ages ago in Richmond. So let's see. We are around the same age as your son would have been. He was born in 78. Yes. Yeah, RJ was born in 78, and Jay and I were born in 81, and I'm not sure on Alan, but I'm sure he's around the same age. Yes, it is beautiful here. I too am glad they restored them instead of tearing them down. I hate to see that with the really historical buildings being torn down. It's just a shame. Sorry, I'm keeping up pretty good with the comments, but I do apologize if I missed some of them. I do have to make sure my main focus is on the road here. Especially driving in the city, you gotta watch out because there's always like pedestrians popping up and bikes whizzing by and stuff like that. So I make sure I'm being careful. You are driving and so am I, except it's raining here. Well, RJ, hello and welcome to the stream. Glad to see you. We were just talking about you. You probably know, but but it's not raining here, but it's gloomy, like it's gonna start raining. RJ, if I were to flip the screen around, you'd see my blow molds in the back. It was funny because when I first came on, it's like there's a snowman behind me just chilling in my back seat. I was telling them that you had got me that blow mold, but it took me until now, it was about a year ago. Well, a little short of a year, but it took me this long to finally be able to get that one and the caroler. But it'll be good because I'm gonna have it in time for Christmas to decorate for Christmas. So I'm glad to be traveling home with the two famous blow molds. And it'll be fun to put them out for the holidays. Got a lot of folks saying hi. Everybody loves RJ. It's always good when RJ drops in to say hi. Yes, I'm glad I got them too. I have no room in my car, but it's worth it. It's worth it to get those treasures back home to North Carolina. And this is a good city for train spotting. There's a lot of tracks and bridges. There's one right ahead, actually, as I speak. With, yeah, there's one right there in front of us. But there's a lot of those throughout the city. On your left, which you cannot see, I apologize, there is a train station in the distance, and there's several of those. And there's also something famous that Richmond has that no other city has, and they call it the triple crossing. It's where 3 different train lines cross at the same spot. So if you hit it just right, It's like, you know, there's one on the bottom, one in the middle, and one on top, and they all just crisscross. If you hit it just right, you can get 3 trains going at once in different directions on top of one another. It's a really cool sight to see. They've made postcards of it and stuff like that. But just if you get a chance, look that up, like Richmond, Virginia, triple crossing, train crossing, something like that. It'll show you a picture of it. It's really neat to see that. RJ is driving through Allentown. Winky face. I've been there. All right, I'm going to try to get off Broad Street here. We've already seen this. I want to get everywhere I go, it says no left turn. So it might be a second, but I'm going to get off this road and go hit some other ones. Yes, it is awesome. It's that would be something incredible to catch on video. I don't know how you do it. I guess the people who really follow train stuff, who like know about what trains are coming out of the different yards and that they have the time schedule and all that, you could in theory figure it out. I don't know how to do that, but I would love to be there when all 3 trains cross, because it's cool enough just seeing one. Can you imagine 3 going over each other like that? It's really definitely a unique thing that Richmond has. All right, I think I can finally turn left here. So let's do that. Yes, RJ, you would enjoy seeing that. And there's just a whole lot of train stuff here for train enthusiasts. So if any of y'all looking to travel, looking to do some unique train stuff, I do recommend this city. Contrary to popular belief, Pennsylvania is not the only place that has a lot of train stuff. Now, there's not as many like shows and model train enthusiasts and that kind of thing here, but there are train yards and places to watch trains and train stations and just unique little spots for different kinds of train spotting that you can do. So I would, this is a good area for that. And something I won't be doing this trip, but when I come back in the future, I might focus a little more on that if I get a chance. I'd really love to show you some of the stations. I think I can show you one of them. One of the old stations. Yeah, I'm going to turn here. Main Street. Okay. One of the old stations is now a science museum. Well, it's been a science museum for quite some time because I went there as a kid. Like, we used to go there on field trips from school, but it was, at one point way before that, it was a train station. It was a huge one. So I may be able to show you that one. We'll add it to your bucket list. That you should. So yeah, we are just cruising the streets of Richmond, Virginia, and like all cities, it's just more or less a grid. You go down one way, back the other, with a lot of little cross streets. And Richmond is a mid-sized city. It's not huge by any means, but it is not small either. Got a few raindrops coming down. And once we get kind of out of the downtown part, there's an area near VCU, and they call it the Fan. And that is where everybody lives in the old historic houses. The college students live there. but also families live there. People raise their kids in these houses. But every house is old, nothing new. Every house has a history. Some of them go back pretty far. Some of them just are whole houses that belong to somebody, a family or whoever. And others have been sectioned off into apartments because they're so huge. They're like, some of these are from Victorian era, and there's plenty of room to have 3-4 separate apartments within one of the houses. So I lived in several places in the fan, and it was awesome. You can ride your bike everywhere, you can walk everywhere. Everything you need is right there. It's close to campus. This is the VCU campus we're gonna ride through right now. My dorm is over to the right. You can't see it right now, but we might go over there closer to it in a few minutes. But yeah, most everybody walking around here is a student. These are college students at VCU. All right. I'm gonna let these guys pass. You can pass. Go ahead, go ahead. I had the green light, but there's just so many of them waiting there. I just let them go. It's my alma mater. Well, I didn't graduate from there, but I still consider it my old school, my old college. RJ's throwing rain at me. Yeah, cut it out. That's rude. Why don't you throw me some sunshine? I guess you can if you don't have it, but don't throw rain. You can see on your left here all the houses. Well, they're not houses, they're like storefronts, but they're all painted different colors. And there is a lot of art that's on the side of the buildings. It's kind of like, I want to call it graffiti art, but it's not really like the words as much as it is big images of people or animals or just things around Richmond. So we'll try to look out for that on the side of the building. I think there's one right here. Look on your right. Kind of like looks like an alien creature or something from Star Wars. It's not, but it looks like something that could be. Jason is in Florida, so he's in the Sunshine State. He can send some sunshine our way. Thank you. And he wants to trade it for rain, so we'll send some rain his way. Yeah, you could call them murals. There's some of them, it's just one big, huge thing. That is very curious of you. What does that mean? Who? Curious of who? RJ and Jason need to meet up. Yes. Meet up, trade some sunshine for some rain. Trey 57 Productions stopped in to show support. 100, 100, 100, star. You rock. Thank you, Ramon. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in to say hey. I'm cruising around Richmond, Virginia, my hometown. Streets of RVA. Currently stuck behind an Amazon truck. I would move aside if I could, but we got lots of traffic coming on my left side here. See if I can do it now. Here we go. Yeah, Florida doesn't get much rain, although they get a fair amount of regular little thunderstorms that just seem to pop up, and then as quickly as they've come on, they go away. But some folks have been really busy with the art because I do not remember all the murals that are here from before. They've just really like beautified the sides of buildings. There's a restaurant called Sticky Rice. That's been there forever. Some of the restaurants and some of the bars and things have really just stayed solid over the years, and they're still there. There was a bar my grandfather used to go to when he was young. It's called Helen's, and it's a restaurant too, and it's still there. Okay, RJ, thank you for dropping by. See, there's a design right there. It's pretty cool. Does your phone feel like it's going to melt? Who is that directed at? Jason, because he lives in the heat? Or me, because my phone heats up when I do live streams? I think my phone's doing okay so far. People usually let me know when I start getting overheating audio problems. Okay, so we're on Elwood Avenue, and that is cool because one of these houses, I used to know the address, and I don't think I know it anymore. But one of these houses my dad lived in when he was little, like very young. And that's one thing that's so cool about the city for me is both of my parents are from Richmond. So, we didn't move, they didn't move here from somewhere else or, grew up somewhere else. They grew up here, their parents grew up here, and so on and so forth. So our roots in Richmond go back really far. And it's just, I don't have that kind of history where I am now. We just moved there later in life. So it is good to get back on the streets that, really mean something to me and that have so much history in my family. All of us have walked these streets going back so many decades. That it's just a good feeling, to be back in an area like that. yours warms up when you do GPS. It's a little warm, but it's doing okay. On the days where we actually have really hot weather and I'm walking around doing a live stream, it does get really hot. But we got the I actually have the air conditioning going in here right now, so hopefully that will help it. All right, we're gonna go around the block here. Wow, a Publix, that definitely wasn't there. We're gonna go around the block here and go down Carey Street, which is a place that has really cool shops and places to eat and all that good stuff. And take a look. Yeah, we never had Publix when I was growing up. That was always like Florida had Publix because my grandma lived in Florida and I would go visit her in the summers and we always shopped at Publix, but Richmond never had Publix. Richmond had a store that nobody's ever heard of unless you're from here. It's called U-Crops. There was U-Crops everywhere, all over Richmond and then surrounding areas as well. And that's where everybody shopped. But they have since gone out of business, even though they do have some things left over. They have a catering place somewhere around here and some different things. And their bakery kept going for this place called U-Crops. Their bakery kept going. So you can find products that say U-Crops Bakery in other stores. And the funny thing is, I mean, it took 20 years or whatever, but there's a Food Lion about 5 minutes from my house, and Food Lion started carrying U-Crops bakery items, and they carry U-Crops rainbow cookies, which is my favorite cookie. And to see it in a store 5 minutes away from me, I was so excited. I mean, I did a post about it on Facebook because I was so excited to see those cookies. Everybody here knows rainbow cookies. They're so good. They're not actually totally rainbow. They're like green and yellow and red. And they're just so good. They're kind of like sugar cookies, but they have a different taste. And people that move away from Richmond, they always miss the rainbow cookies. So now we can get them in other places. But when I was a kid, you'd go into U-Crops and you'd go to the bakery, and the ladies or whoever was in the bakery, I don't know why I said ladies because it could have been anybody, but you would go in the bakery and they would give you a cookie. They would give the kids a free cookie, and it was always one of those rainbow cookies. So a lot of us grew up just loving that and remembering that type of cookies. I know I just talked a lot about cookies, but in Richmond, rainbow cookies are a big deal. So now you're in the know. But yes, this is a very popular place. It would be a good place to get out and do some kind of stream, like a walking stream, looking at everything. That'll be some other trip, not today. We're gonna stick in the car for today. But it would be a good place to take a little walk, I think. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the stream, Pam. A lot of folks that have been in this stream have not been to Richmond. I know my closest friends, RJ hasn't been here. American Explorer or Dirk, he has not been to Richmond either. Johnny, I don't think he has either. It's really like the people I do collabs with, none of them have been here. So maybe maybe one day I'll come back down here and bring some folks and show them around, because it is a really cool place. There's lots of opportunities for videos. No matter what you're into or what your channel does, there's something here that would work for that. I mean, most of us are variety channels, so, or we like history. There's a ton of history. There's abandoned, there's tourist stuff, trains. I mean, most cities have this stuff, but Richmond, it's definitely got some interesting video worthy things to do and places to see. Hy-Vee. I have not heard of that. This street looks the same yet different. So many of the shops have changed throughout the years, but still a few of the same things, a few of the same restaurants, and a bakery that's been there forever. And World of Mirth. Okay, on your right, World of Mirth is a cool like novelty store. They've got toys, collectibles, novelty stuff like that. Over here on the right is the Bird Theater, which for some reason is showing the Blair Witch Project. I guess for spooky season, but that's funny. I didn't expect to see that on the marquee. But yeah, Bird Theater's been there forever. They actually have an organ player that rises up out of the floor with his organ and his disco crazy ball and colors and everything. And he plays and plays and plays his heart out before the movie starts. And then he moves back down underneath the ground or the floor. And they still do that. And there's huge chandelier in there, just huge. And there's like little balconies on the side, little alcoves in the wall where you can sit and watch the movies they have there. They would do fun stuff like show old movies like Princess Bride and Labyrinth and all those the 80s movies and stuff, or they'd show Wizard of Oz and they'd play the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon album to it and all that trippy stuff. And you can go in there and get popcorn, drinks, and watch the old movies, and they're for kind of a cheap price. At least they used to do that stuff. I think they still do, but I used to go there a lot in my younger years. We do have NASCAR. Historically, I've not been too into NASCAR. I did enjoy filming the abandoned Wilkesboro Speedway. That's actually one of my most successful videos, and I'm thankful for the opportunity I had to film that when it was abandoned, because now it's actually being revitalized and it's going to be in use again. As for here, that same boyfriend I mentioned earlier who ran the transmission shop, he was into NASCAR, and so he insisted that I come with him to one of the races. So I've been to one and only one. It's just kind of not my thing. It's a little slow for me. It's kind of exciting when they get into a wreck, but then again, it feels kind of wrong to say I hope they wreck, because I don't hope they wreck. But it's just the whole like go left thing. You know, it's kind of fun to see for about 5 minutes, and then I'm kind of like over it. So I hope I don't offend any NASCAR fans. Don't leave the channel. Don't unsubscribe. I respect what everybody else likes, but it's not one of my favorite things, if that makes sense. Pam's a huge NASCAR fan. Well, forgive me for my feelings on it. But I would go if I had some good friends to go with. So like if Pam came to town and she said, "Hey, let's go to NASCAR," I'd be like, "All right." And it would be fun with good friends, I think. Yes, they are opening up the Wilkesboro Speedway again. And the video that I did, there's a Facebook page for Save the Speedway for Wilkesboro, and the video that I made has been shared on that page several times. Seeing what it looked like before they started working on it and fixing it up. So that's been a cool experience. Yes, you could have a blast with friends. The friends, if I went with friends, they wouldn't let me get bored. NASCAR fan since '76. Well, that's cool. And I do have some of the little collector Hot Wheels and stuff like that, because I think those are cool. especially for Days of Thunder. I have the cars from Days of Thunder and stuff like that. I like those. And I like the movie Days of Thunder. And when I made the Wilkesboro video, I actually enjoyed doing the research because I included clips of like Dale Earnhardt because of course, he'd race there, and just with those kind of sad clips since he passed away, and I did do some research, and I found it interesting. So I do give credit where credit is due, that looking all that up and everything. I did enjoy making that video. Now I might try to get back over to Broad Street so I can show you the train station, because I can get out of the car and give you like a better view of that. So maybe I will start heading out that way. Of course, we got more VCU here. A lot of sports stuff going on down here, tennis and different things. VCU does not have a football team, but they have lots of other sports. It's fairly, yeah, it's a mid-sized city. It'd be cool to show you the train bridge. It leads to the south side of Richmond. I don't know if I'm gonna really get out there today, but there's a bridge, and I mentioned this yesterday on the Hollywood Cemetery stream, but there's a bridge, a viaduct type bridge, that's it has like the arch look to it, the arches underneath the train track. It's made of stone, and it's going out over the James River, and it's an amazing, beautiful bridge to see, especially when a train's going over it. Lots of pictures, lots of artwork has been done of this bridge, and it's just something that I've known my entire life, and it's really like just says Richmond to me. So it would have been neat to show you that, but I don't think we're gonna do it for this time. And let's see. Here, excuse my huge finger, that building, it's like kind of the second one over there in the middle of two. It's kind of jutting out with those lines going down. That is Rhodes Hall. And I used to live on the 11th floor of that building. Well, just for one year when I was a freshman here at VCU. That's the dorm that I stayed in, right by the elevator shaft. I did not have a roommate. It was just me. It had some single rooms. I was lucky enough to get one. I didn't really want a roommate. Okay, we're gonna get back on Broad here and see if we can make a stop at the old train station. And you are going to enjoy seeing this train station. It's one of the big ones, not like the little wooden ones that you see in the small towns. It's a big one. So we want to make sure to show you that. But this has been fun. I've enjoyed doing this. It's not something I can do in my own town. If I even have enough signal to get out there, you just drive down Main Street and it takes 15 seconds and you're done. So just being able to kind of weave in and out of, or go through the grid of the city, if you will, just driving around and seeing my old stomping ground, seeing what's new, seeing what's still there, and just kind of feeling the energy of the city. I miss that where I am in Franklin. Love the mountains, but miss certain elements of the city. I don't miss the traffic. I sound like an old person complaining about the traffic, but it is a thing. There's a lot of traffic. Don't have that in Western North Carolina as much. And I love the nature and the beauty and the whole mountain scene is what I enjoy now. But there will always be things that I miss about the city. So it was fun to be able to get to do this today. I see other channels that do drive streams, and I'm like, well, I'm jealous because they can kind of go out and do that whenever they want, and it's not something I can do. So while I was here in Richmond, it was on my list of things to do. I'll just drive around, and it wouldn't have been as fun if you guys didn't join me. You may not actually be in the car, but I still feel like you're here with me, commenting and conversing with me, and I really appreciate that. So I appreciate y'all joining me today. Thank you. Actually, I do. It's funny you mentioned that because I do need to get gas soon. I'm leaving tomorrow, and I want to make sure I have a full tank before I head out. So I'm probably that's something I need to do pretty soon, actually. Yeah, there's no room in the car for anyone else. Yes, we are full, especially with those blow molds back there. I got other stuff back there too, because I went to see one of my I went to see a grandma, and my grandma I have one left, and I went to see her, and she told me to go into the attic and take some things that I would like to have, because she knows I like old stuff, and she said she has no use for this stuff, to take some of it. So she gave me some old lamps and things like that. Look at this Sours vanilla. They make a whole lot of different spices and condiments and things. Like, there's a Sours pepper that you can probably find in your local grocery store. Not all the grocery stores have sour stuff, but if a lot of them do. So if you see something that says that it will also say Richmond, Virginia, and that's where it's made. They make really good pepper. But we can find the pepper now in Food Lion near us, so you don't have to order it online anymore. Yes, I brought home some vintage lamps, like some mid-century modern lamps, and um I have my grandfather's old Navy uniform. She gave that to me, so it's kind of a cool thing. Um some Christmas decorations, some ceramic Christmas trees, and some old books and just a lot of odds and ends. Um, she wanted to kind of pare down and get rid of some things, so naturally the retromantic comes in and says, "I will take your old stuff." So I definitely have some things to to fix up and go through when I get back. Okay, we're almost there. See it coming up on the right here. I'm gonna turn in there. So I'll get out of the car in a second, but you have your first look at Union Station of Richmond. And I am not a member, so we're not going to stay in this spot long. Yes, Union stations are the bigger ones. All right, I am going to unhook from the mic for a second because we're only going to be out a minute. And bear with me as I move you all to a little folder. I will try not to push any buttons, any random buttons. Alrighty, give me a sec. Family memories are the best things to have. That is true. And I've had a good chance to meet with family this week and kind of share memories, and we've had a lot of laughs. It's been sad, but there's also been a lot of laughs as well. Okay, so just a few minutes. We'll walk around here. Union Station, Richmond, Virginia. Of course, I have no memories of it as a train station. However, I remember very fondly coming here for science, because this is a science museum. Remember when I was a kid, my class came here in school and we had some big kind of presentation, and they had one of those balls that conducts electricity, so you would come up and put your hand on it and your hair would stick up. And of all the people in the crowd, I got picked. So I got to go up there and put my hand on the ball and have my hair rise up like crazy, and all the kids laughed at me. But yeah, they've added things on for the science element of it, and there's an IMAX theater in there and all that good stuff. But a lot of the front of it, the facade is basically the same. You know, there hasn't been changes. So it's just a really awesome building to see. And it's got that big dome roof. And so it's a historic landmark listed in the National Register of Historic Places, Broad Street Station. So how about this? I decided to walk in and just give you a little shot of the inside. You've got to see the inside. You see the same benches from when it was a train station. And this pendulum thing has been here for a long time. Remember that. Of course, up ahead is where you would enter for the science museum part. There's even still little things on the wall, like see where that says news and cigars? That would have obviously been from the train station days. And there's a clock up there. You see this says RF&P Railroad Company Forum. RF&P is Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac, in case you were wondering. So this is kind of interesting. They've got things up here I didn't realize were here. There's a old photograph of the station when it was in use as a train station. There's an aerial view. Oh, you have one of those in your science center too. Guess it's kind of universal. There's another shot of the interior of the train station with the benches, and there's the little newsstand. And you can see it's very much the same, you know, that little alcove area. One of them out there says vending and the other one says restrooms. But other than that, it looks the same. And that's cool. That's really cool. You can see the engines, the steam engines out there lined up on the tracks right next to the station. It looks like this was some kind of like counter where you could get food. And And there was a little restaurant in here. I actually didn't know that. But there was a place you could get a meal or a quick bite to eat here as well. So this is a pictorial history of Broad Street Station. I actually didn't know this was in here. I had no idea we were going to do this, so it was kind of cool to stop in and take a look at these and really give you an idea of what the station was like years ago. I remember coming here and seeing this amazing dinosaur display. Like, not only did they have the bones, but they had animatronic dinosaurs. And this was the 80s, so that was a big deal. It was nothing that I'd ever seen before, like it's common today, but seeing the dinosaurs actually move and all that stuff, it was super cool. So this is the dispatcher's record of movement of trains. 1943, 33,324 passengers arrived, departed, or passed through Broad Street Station, making it the busiest day on record. See, there's what I was saying, the Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac Railroad Company. Yeah, so that was cool. That was definitely cool to see. I see they have a dinosaur right there above guest services. All right, well, let's get a final little look at the outside of the building, and then we'll hop back in the car. We won't go for too much longer after that. We have been able to see a pretty good amount. So there you go. Here's your view of Union Station of Richmond. Okay, we're gonna hop back in the car. We're gonna drive a few more minutes and then we'll stop, say goodbye, and call it a night. I know I've been on a good while already, but I knew this was going to be a longer one because I wanted to make sure I got to see what I wanted to see. Whoop. Okay, let's get situated here. Back to the good driving view. Whoop. I forgot about that thing where you can put people's comments on the screen. Just did that accidentally, but it was a good reminder that I can do that. So my CD, I've got a CD player in here, and it's making all kinds of racket right now. Because I don't use it. It has a piece stuck in it, and every once in a while it just starts making a rattling clickety clack sound. So used to do it a lot more. It's kind of settled down and only does it when you start the car now. So I'm glad about that. Lara says it's been fun and real. Really enjoyed going with you on your adventure of your old hometown. Well, thank you, Laura. That's great to hear. I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. And I did want to do something different, and I did want to share with people about my hometown. You know, I keep saying this, but people don't realize I'm not from the mountains of North Carolina, because I've made that place my home, but my original home and, you know, the place where I was born and raised is not something I get to share often. So I do appreciate y'all coming with me today, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Carol Ann, hello. We just finished looking at Union Station here in Richmond, Virginia, and we got a chance to go inside too, which was neat. We're gonna hop back out on the road for a little bit, and then we'll probably call it a night at that point. Yeah, and y'all remind me to get gas. It's important. Well, we've been driving around Richmond, Virginia, my hometown. We're not going to any place in particular. It's just a drive stream. I'm just kind of cruising and telling people some memories, basically. We just looked at the train station. Now we're just getting back out on the city and just there's one or two more streets I want to drive down. We're kind of getting close to wrapping it up because I have been on for a while now. Do I want this street? I don't know. I've been on for a while now, so I will start wrapping things up in a little bit. But that being said, I'm still going to drive for a little bit. Oh, because that reminds me, I did not do Monument Avenue, and I want to drive down Monument Avenue, and I almost forgot. Home is where your heart is, as well as your family members too. Well, I have family members here and now in North Carolina, so it's both places for me. It's only been an hour and 45 minutes. That's true. That's kind of long for me though. Well, maybe not as compared to the My Retro Nightmare live streams I used to do. Those were pretty long. But yeah, we'll go a little bit longer. I'm actually glad I drove down here because it reminded me that I wanted to drive on Monument Avenue and through the fan a little bit more. Okay, so this is Monument Avenue. I used to live at 1620 Monument Avenue, which we will pass. I'm going in the opposite direction that I want to be going right now. I'm actually going to turn around. On the left, I know you can't really see it right now, but there is a church, a huge church, and that is the church where my parents were married in 1972, 50 years ago. So it's always cool to see that place. It's called First Baptist Church, Richmond, Virginia. I'm going to turn around and cruise down the other side in just a second. Okay, here we go. That church I just mentioned is going to be coming up on your right over there. First Baptist Church, where it all began, where my parents got married. The rest is history. All right, so we're traveling down Monument Avenue. It is going to be bumpy because this is a cobblestone road. Cobblestone road from many, many decades ago. It is still here from the horse and buggy days. So that is why it's a little bumpier. It's starting to look beautiful. The leaves are not quite at peak, but they're almost there. So you're seeing a lot of reds and yellows and greens. It is beautiful. But yes, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride right here. Now you will notice that this is called Monument Avenue, but there are no monuments. And the monuments have been taken away in the past couple of year or recently, yeah, in the past few years they've been taken away. So you see like this empty spot right here. That was where one was, and you keep going down the street, coming up on another empty spot. That's where another monument was. And then there's a huge area where a really huge one was. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was Robert E. Lee or something with Stonewall Jackson. I can't remember. I think it was Robert E. Lee. But that's been taken down, and you'll just see the graffiti all around. It is a little bit of a political thing, and I'm definitely not here to talk about that, but they were Civil War monuments. So they've all been taken down. So it's called Monument Avenue, but there's no monuments. So it's definitely very different from when I lived here, and those were still in place. It's a beautiful road, though. It's beautiful to drive down the leaves and all the old houses, and it's just a nice fall scene, if you will. But coming up right here is where the largest one was, and we're going to kind of circle around it. But like that. I'm just holding the phone for a second, so bear with me. But that was where a really big one was. And it's gone, and it's all fenced in and everything, because, you know, there was a lot of political stuff going on, and just protesting and all that. So the monuments are now, they are gone. And that's yet another one where one was right here. And earlier in the stream, I mentioned I got hit by a car. It was actually right about here when I was on my bike. I had a car hit me right right around there. You can go. There's a lot of pedestrians, and I think they're surprised when I stop for them. But I'm just cruising. I don't need to get anywhere fast. They can go. They can cross. It's all good. Yes, it is clearing up a little bit. You are right. The sky's clearing up. We can see more blue than gray now. And those leaves are starting to really stand out. Still a lot of green right here. There's Schaefer Court at VCU, right in front of the cafeteria. They used to have music play out there, like, you know, nothing huge, but like bands would play. A lot of punk rock bands, which, believe it or not, I used to be pretty into. It's a big music scene here in Richmond. And that's the dorm I was showing you before, Rhodes Hall, where I used to live. But yes, there's a big music scene here. Going to shows and concerts and all that is a pretty big thing, and always has been. VCU is largely known as an art school, but there's a big music department, and there's also a medical campus as well. But it's big into the arts. That building to your left, in your left uh, hand corner, looks like it's called Monroe Park Towers. It might have had a different name back then, but um, to give to give you an idea, not to, put down the city or anything like that. I gotta watch out. There are bikes everywhere. Don't want to take anybody out here. Not to put down the city, but in the 80s and 90s, crime was pretty bad here. Had something like the highest crime rate per capita of any. It was higher than New York City at one point, which is crazy. But that building that I just showed you, I had friends up there, and one night I actually had somebody pull a gun on me and aim it at my head. And so, hope my mom's not listening because I never told her that one. But yeah, crime was kind of bad. It's better now. They've really worked on that and made the buildings nicer and made less like sketchy areas. Obviously, there's still a homeless population. You can see that right here on your left. You're gonna find that in any city. And that, I didn't mean to correlate that with crime. That's not what I was saying. But the place has definitely undergone changes that to where it has less of a whole crime scene. It's still a city. There's still going to be some of that, always, any city, but it is a safer place than it used to be in the 80s and 90s. And there were some times where I experienced some things that made me feel unsafe. That was pretty bad. I also had a lot of things stolen from me, and just nothing too bad, but the whole gun thing, that would be the worst one, I'd have to say. Not to put a damper on our fun live stream here, but I do have some a couple not so great memories come with the territory, I guess. All right, there's one last street I want to ride down. I've been trying to get to it, but every time I try to get to it, it's like no left turn. And then I'm gonna park somewhere and just say goodbye. Oh yeah, here we go. Grace Street. I wanted to ride down this street. The Village Cafe. Used to eat there a lot. Right there with that yellow stripe awning. And that's been there forever. Long before I was born. And it's still there. And it is, like I keep talking about, it's fixed up because it used to look pretty run down. But it's open all the time. You could get food late at night, that kind of thing. The Village was always there. All right, let me attempt to turn right without mowing anybody down. That 7-Eleven was there when I went to school here. I don't know why I remember that. I guess that's the one I walked to from the dorms. Just this street looks so different though. All this VCU stuff wasn't there. This is where I used to hang out in high school too. I'd drive down here with friends, and we'd go to shows. We called it shows because it wasn't concerts. It wasn't like huge venues. It was little hole in the wall places that had punk rock shows and stuff like that. There were several venues here that catered to that. So we'd come out here in the teenage years and go watch the bands play and have a lot of fun. And that continued into the college years. But I remember this street we're on, it's called Grace Street. They had this place called Twisters and this place called Biograph, and I think the Twisters building is still there, but it's something else. It's changed names a bunch of times. The Biograph was pretty run down. I don't know. I might have cut it. I think I cut it too short to ride by. the venue that I remember. It's back closer to where I said my dorm was. So I'm not going to go back that way. But this is the road that kind of had all the fun stuff to do back in my day. We do all have some not so great memories. That's just a part of the human experience, I guess you could say. It's funny, like I don't think we've had anybody in the stream today. I mean, not that there's been a lot of people, but I don't think that we've had anyone in the stream today who has actually been to Richmond. So it's kind of a new experience for everybody to see it. But this area is also what I keep mentioning, the fans, where all the college students live, and um, some families as well. But every single house is old. All these houses, they've been here forever. They have a lot of history to them. Um, and like I said before, they've been sectioned off into apartments. So you'll find 3 or 4 different apartments within one of the houses. Pam says I'm cutting out some. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't happened more with it being a drive stream. Cutting in and out of signal is kind of inevitable. I don't know how I'm doing right now, but I'm kind of looking for a place to just stop and just turn the screen around and just kind of end things. But I'm not quite where I want to be yet. You have been to Richmond and Williamsburg. Okay, so Carol Ann has been to Richmond, and Williamsburg is not far. That's another place where um, I went as a child for field trips because it's pretty close by. Um, yes, so Williamsburg, Colonial Williamsburg is always fun to see, where they have the living history reenactments. And also we always went to Busch Gardens, which is in Williamsburg. And now I work for my microphone popped off. Now I work for a resort that has many locations all over the country, and one of their locations is in Williamsburg. We're on cobblestone again. Definitely something I think is cool and unique about Richmond is how they've maintained those old, very old cobblestone streets. Virginia Beach. Yeah, Virginia Beach can be fun, but it's not, it's kind of gone down over the years. It was fun, when I was a kid, but it's not. If I was going to go to the beach these days, I'd pick Myrtle Beach or like Nag's Head or some North Carolina beach or some South Carolina beach or Florida. Really anywhere other than Virginia Beach. Like I said, I enjoyed it when I was young, but it's overcrowded. It's just impossible to really find a place to sit on the beach if you go there. You were there in 2010, okay. Yeah, it's really small compared to a lot of the other tourist beachy places. There's actually some surrounding beaches that are much nicer and much less populated. One of them is called Buckrow Beach. I kind of grew up going there. My parents would take me there instead of Virginia Beach. So you'd have the beach, but not as much chaos and craziness. Although there was an amusement park that was there when I was young, but it was kind of like off the beaten path. Ocean City, Maryland. Yeah, I hear a lot about that. I have friends who go there, who vacation there, but I have never been there. But there's one of the Retromantic subscribers. She's not here today, but Tammy, she went to Ocean City not very long ago, and she actually went to a restaurant there called, excuse me, Annabelle's Barbecue or something like that. And she ended up buying like a handkerchief thing that said Annabelle's on it, and she mailed that to me because my daughter's name is Annabelle. So she mailed that to me to give to Annabelle, and it was from Ocean City, Maryland. So that was really cool when I got that in the mail. And Annabelle was excited too. I shouldn't have said what I say, handkerchief. I meant bandana. So she can like put it on her head or wrap it around her neck and it says Annabelle. So that was really cool of Tammy to think of us and send that. All right, I'm gonna get back out to the yet again Broad Street and find a place to pull over and go ahead and end things. We've been on the road a good while now. Maybe I should stop at a gas station because I need gas. There are some massive homes there, yes. Like I said, though, a lot of those are broken up into separate apartments. But a lot of them aren't. You know, some people own those houses. It's not like a landlord situation. A lot of people own them, and yeah, they have the whole house, and some of them are pretty good size. Excuse me. My dad was here a couple weeks ago, and the restaurant that left called McLean's. He said that was really good. He was happy. He ordered salt herrings, which is disgusting to me, but he said it was really good, and it's not everywhere that you can get salt herrings for breakfast. We have here WTVR TV, CBS, the South's first television station. Guys, excuse me. I have some kind of tickle in my throat. Yeah, so that was the TV station. I've been in there a bunch of times because, like I said, I started out with journalism at VCU. And we would go there and kind of, excuse me, guys. We would go there and be able to look at like the things they were doing for news broadcasts and media and all that, because I took media classes in college. And yeah, so we would go there and kind of, we would intern or observe. And there was one point where I wanted to be a news anchor person, believe it or not. So we would go there and kind of shadow the people that work there and do different things when I was in college. Okay, I see a gas station coming up, so I'm going to pull off in there and go ahead and end the stream, seeing as I'm having a coughing attack and we've been on for long enough. Okay. Let me change the view. There I am with my car full of retro junk. So, I don't know what came over me, but suddenly it was very hard to talk and I had a tickle in my throat and I was just like, ugh. Look at this weird thing I'm drinking. Mountain Dew Zero mystery flavor. I don't know. It tastes pretty good, but I couldn't tell you what the flavor is. Carol Ann says, I will see you on the next one. I'll watch the beginning of this since I missed a lot. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Hopefully some folks who couldn't make it to the live will watch the replay later. This was a good stream. You know, we saw a lot all over Richmond, and we even got to get out and look at the train station and even go inside. And I wasn't expecting that, you know, photo display of what the station used to look like when it was open, and those pictures of the trains and all that was a really cool bonus part to our stream today. So I enjoyed doing that, and I hope you did as well. If you missed the beginning of the stream, I've got a lot of junk in the back of my car. It's part things that like I finally was able to meet up with RJ and get. So that snowman and Granny, she's a caroler, Granny caroler behind me there, were things that RJ had held on to for me. So we were able to kind of meet up, and I got those things from him because Richmond is a lot closer to Pennsylvania and the areas where those guys are from than North Carolina is. So was able to meet up with a few people. I actually attended Bernie's model train show in Scranton. So look out for a video on that. It was fun to do that because I've always seen how he has that show, but I never was able to attend until now. I went out there and looked at all the cool train stuff and kept an eye out for American Flyer things since that's what I run. And I was able to see some old friends, and I even got to go to another abandoned resort. So sadly, I still have abandoned resort footage from the Poconos that I've not put out from the first time I went looking for that stuff. But now I actually have another abandoned resort that I was able to find when I was up there. It was like impromptu. I didn't plan it out. I just decided, hey, I have some extra time. I'm going to do it. So I went out there and did it. It was beautiful, fall, woods, just this rundown resort in the setting of a gorgeous woodland scene. So I made a video on that, and hopefully it won't be years till you see it. It's so pretty. I want to put it out now, so it's coming out in the fall season. So I may try to fast track that one as well. But it was good. It was a good trip. You know, I only was up there a couple days because I mostly had things to do here in Richmond. And I didn't want to be gone for too long. But I was able to get the blow molds, and my grandmother gave me a bunch of other stuff to take to, some old lamps and things that need fixing up, and just, she knows I like retro stuff. She's actually she's a step grandmother, and my grandfather remarried later in life, and she just had a bunch of stuff still up in the attic. He's long gone, but she had all this stuff up in the attic, and she offered what was up there to, well, some of it to her grandchildren, because she has 3 grown grandchildren, and then they have children, so there's great grandchildren now. But none of them are interested in older things. They don't, it's not their style, or a lot of people just like newer things, or their style just doesn't include mid-century modern lamps or whatever, like it does for me. So she said, why don't you come up in my attic and just take what you want. And so I did, and that's why my car is full. So I have a lot of things to go through when when I get back into North Carolina. But I think that's it. I'm at a gas station. I need to fill up because I'm going to get on the road tomorrow morning, and I'm going to head back to Franklin. I've been here for a little over a week now, so it is time to, I've had my time to see people and do things, and I got to get back to see my daughter and to go back to work, of course. So my time here is pretty much done. I am going to meet up with my cousins tonight. We're going to have one final dinner together. I did share, some of you are friends with me on Facebook. I did share a photo of meeting up with my cousins the other day. It was really good to see them because I haven't seen them in like something like 10 years. It's an embarrassing amount of time. So it was good that we all met up again. I promised them that it would not be so much time in between visits, and that I'm going to be coming back more often now. I've got a good job. They give me time where, I earn time that I can take off that's paid. And I have discounts in hotels because of the fact that I work for a resort. So I get discounted hotels, and what I'm trying to say is that I have a lot more opportunity now for traveling. So I'm planning to come back to Richmond more, see family more. And it's also good for the YouTube channel because, even though I'm working a lot and I keep saying, it's hard to fit in time for editing, on the upside of things, because of my new job, I do have a lot more opportunities for travel. So I plan to go to some new and different places that I haven't gone to before, and no doubt I'll be making videos there, and I can meet up with friends more often. American Explorer, he's in Georgia. I have to do a little bit of traveling to see him. Kevin, the custodian ghost hunter, he's a good 4 hours away. I don't know if y'all know that, but we still like to do collabs and just just having a little more flexibility to do that with my new job is a good thing. So I'm thankful for that. But that's all. I've blabbed on and on long enough. It was really good to see you all. Thank you for coming into this stream. A lot of people dropped in, and it was great to see them. Some of y'all stayed the whole time, and I appreciate your support. Hopefully some folks will go back and watch the beginning if they missed something, and hopefully we'll have some other folks watching tonight when they get off work, because I did a live stream while a lot of people were at work, so can't expect to have too many people coming on then, but that was my only time to do it. So we're done. Yes, Pam was on the entire time. She is just a loyal retromantic supporter, and very glad to have her here the whole time, keeping me company. She called shotgun. She was in the passenger seat. Laura says, have a safe trip back home. Thank you. It's not too bad. It's not like when I do the 10-hour Pennsylvania thing. I'll just head out in the morning, and I'll be there by late afternoon or early evening, depending on how many stops I do. It's 6-ish hours. So it's not too bad. It should be good. I don't have to go around DC or any of the crazy places I do for Pennsylvania. So it should be smooth sailing all the way back. And I thank you for your travel safe wishes. I will do my best to be careful. Christine, hello. She will catch the replay. Yes. It's a long stream. I don't mind if you skip around, but I definitely recommend watching the part where we got to go into the Union Station, or the Richmond's large train station. So, all right. I'm really trying to get off this stream here. Everybody say goodbye to Mr. Snowman back there with his hot pink hat. Look for him again in December. We got Granny Caroler right there. Everybody say bye to her too. And of course, say goodbye to me, the Retromantic. Thank you all again for joining me today. I've said it a million times. It was good to see you all, and I will see you next time. Hopefully, some videos will be out soon and coming your way. I'm going to get on that. That's on my list of things to do, like as soon as I get home. After I see my daughter, edit, and more edit, because I need to get some videos out for you guys. Alrighty. I will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night.